Hi, in this third video, I will be going over 3 examples to show you how to solve quadratic trinomials with our a value greater than 1. So again, this is from the same worksheet. We're just picking up where we left off, but now on the back side or on the second page if you have that printed. So here we go. So recall that again, the a value that we are referring to is in ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. We're talking about the leading coefficient, the number in front of x squared. And we can see that that's true here with example 7. So 5x squared plus 14x minus 3. So same structure as what we just talked about with the a equals 1. We get factors that are 2 binomial factors. On these, recall that a pencil is always good because we use the method trial and error. So first thing is to list your factors of your a. So I listed a 5 and 1. And we list our factors of 3, which are 3 and 1, because those are prime numbers. Please remember that when we ask for your work, we expect minimum to see the list of factors and then evidence that you are checking your inner term by finding the sum of the inner and outer terms. So remember, we always put x and x, and if it's 5 and 1, rather, we're going to have 5x and an understood 1x. I'm just going to make a dotted one. Normally you wouldn't put the 1 there, but I just want you to see that we are using it. And our job is to make our inner and outer terms come out to give us a 14x. So I have to place the 3 and the 1 appropriately so that I get inner and outer of 14x. So if you got good at this when we did our unit on factoring, then you would know that the 3 needs to go back here and the 1 here. Because your brain goes, oh, that's 15x and 1x, and I can make 15x and 1x equal 14. But recall, if our constant term is negative, we do have to have 1 plus and 1 minus sign. If we want a positive sign here, then the larger products here, this gives us 15, will have that same sign. So we want to end up with a positive 15x and then subtract 1x. So again, with prime numbers, all you have to do is place your 5 and 1 in your 1 and 3. But again, you want your inner and outer to combine to give you this. So our inner term is negative 1x. Our outer term is plus 15x, which does give us the 14x. So that means our factors are correct. But now at this point, our job is to take each factor, set it equal to 0, and to solve. Here. Probably could use some more room here. So I'm going to take my 5x minus 1 and put that over here, and my x plus 3 equals 0 and put it over here. So remember that this is a two-step equation. We reviewed this on the front side here with example 2 when we had coefficients here. It's just a two-step equation you're solving. So it's the exact same thing. So we would first add 1 to both sides and then divide by the coefficient of 5, and we would get 1/5. So one of our solutions is 1/5. Now here, remember, it's just a coefficient of 1, so we just switch this plus 3, but it's also the same thing as just subtracting 3 from both sides, and we would get a negative 3. And that's really all there is to it. So if you're struggling with this, my assumption is that you probably need to work on your factoring skills. So like I said in the first video, if you'll go to my YouTube channel and look up under videos, the solving quadratics a greater than 1, you might just need to review that skill. It is a very important skill that you will use throughout your math courses. So next, I'm going to go ahead and set up my parentheses here. And then I'm going to use or list my factors of my a and my c value. So for 4, I have 4 and 1 and 2 and 2. And for 15, I have 15 and 1 and 5 and 3. Please remember that your job or the strategies that I gave you in the other video were that if you have multiple sets of factors that you could try, then the recommendation would be to use the set of factors that are closest together first, and then just mess with them accordingly. There's a couple other strategies in that video, so I highly recommend, if you don't remember them, that you go back and watch. So if it's 4x squared, and we're going to try 2 and 2, then that's going to be 2x and 2x. Our signs, luckily, because our constant term is positive and we copy the sign of our linear term, we can go ahead and put the minus minus in there and not really worry about it. And in terms of the 5 and 3, since they're both 2x minus and 2x minus, it doesn't matter which one you put first, the 5 or the 3. So now let's check, that's negative 10x and negative 6x and negative 10x minus 6x is negative 16x, so I know I'm factored correctly. But now my job is to set my factors equal to 0 and solve. So that's one of my solutions, 5/2. And when I take my other factor, set it equal to 0 and add 3 and then divide by 2, I get 3/2. So I'm going to come down here. Definitely need to give you a little more room on this worksheet for those of you that print it, and I'll do that. I'll just leave it there. So 5/2 and 3/2. But remember, if you're getting good at this, guys, just think, what would I do to solve for x? I add 5, then I divide by 2. Over here, I add 3, then I divide by 2. So hopefully you'll get to where you can do them a little more in your head. All right, so let's talk about this one here. Looks like we're going to have some interesting options. For 6x squared, you could use 6 and 1 or 3 and 2. For 12, we got 12 and 1, 6 and 2, or 4 and 3. So remember what we said about using the set of factors that are closest together first. More often than not, so not all the time, but more often than not, they are the factors closest together. So I do have a negative 12, so I know my signs are going to be positive, negative, but I'm going to figure that out later. And just plug in my 3x and 2x. And now this gives us a chance to remember one of the strategies that I taught you in the prior video, which was that when you go to substitute a 4, you never want to put it into a binomial factor where it creates a GCF. So if we thought about putting the 4 here, that should raise an alarm because 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2, and we do not want these factors to have a common factor. So that drives me to put the 4 here and the 3 here. So I'm assuming that you're getting better and better at this, but the reason I haven't put my signs in is because if I just go ahead and write out 9x and 8x, I can decide what my signs need to be in order to get plus 1x. So that would tell me I need a positive 9x minus 8x. So that means I want this product here. That's where I want my minus sign, so I'll get a negative, excuse me, I said that wrong, didn't I? I want to get the negative 8x, so I'll put the minus here, so I'll get a negative 8x. And I want a positive 9x, so I want my plus here. Okay? But now that it's factored, I set that equal to 0 and solve. So I'm going to add 4, divide by 3. Look at that shortcut. And here I would subtract 3 and then divide by 2. So those are my two solutions. 4/3 and negative 3/2. When you are working on this, if you are struggling with factoring, if you are struggling and you can't get it to work, then you need to jump on Zoom and let us help you, okay? Do not wait. Do not do it so late and then want help at night. We're available during the day until 4 p.m., so please use your time during the day wisely and get this done and let us know if you need help. All right, you should be getting off here and completing 9 through 12 on Delta Math. Then I'll have another video to show you how to do the bottom part.